From Los Angeles, California, Andy Marzich. From Dayton, Ohio, Bobby Kwolek. Two more of the world's greatest bowlers on championship bowling in a three-game match. From the Firestone Bowl A Rama lanes in Akron, Ohio. From Akron, Ohio, it's championship bowling once again. This is Fred Wolf. We have two more of a field of 24 of the world's greatest bowlers in weekly competition, going for a purse of some $70,000. The winner this week, as usual, receives $1,000. The loser, $500. A 300 game is worth $10,000, and all competition is sanctioned, of course, by the American Bowling Congress. Each bowler makes two appearances. The total pins for the 6 games will qualify our two finalists for the $15,000 added purse during the final 2 weeks here on Championship Bowling in Akron, Ohio. 5 strikes in a row in any one game, $250. $50 on top of the 5. That is the 6th and the 7th, and we hope we can string them out. With us this week, Big Pat Patterson from St. Louis. Patrick, how are you?
Fine, Fred. Nice to be here again.
Now, we have... what do we have here? We have a couple of variations in style, I'm sure.
Yes, we sure do. Bob Kwolek throws that hard, straight ball. Not straight, but straight down the line.
Mm-hmm.
And Andy likes to belly the ball a little bit, but both boys are stroking very well, Fred. I think we're going to see some good scores.
Well, boys that work with me say this time and time again. Practice, they look wonderful, but the lights are on now, and we're wondering whether things will change.
Okay.
Pat, you get ready. Let's meet the boys. From Dayton, Ohio, former Detroiter, former champion of championship bowling, Bobby Kwolek. Welcome.
How do you do, Fred?
Well, let's see. Takes me back a year or two. Northbrook, Illinois. Remember that?
I sure do, Freddie.
Remember that big fellow who was just up here?
Yeah, I remember him, too.
And you beat him in the finals.
Yeah, that was a
Oh,
great match.
you won the big $10,000. Well, could happen again in Akron, Ohio.
Well, I hope so.
All right, but here's a fellow might change things a bit from Los Angeles, the great Andy Marzich. Andrew?
Thank you, Fred. It's an awful nice introduction there.
Yes, I don't know where that great came from. That just came out. I think of Andrew Jackson and Andrew John, and they seem to go together, and Marzich fits there, too. Andy, you've done some great things on championship bowling.
Well, I hope I do it again today. I think my average is pretty good on the show, and I'd like to bowl a good match.
You would like to...
I feel like I have to against him.
What would you settle for?
About $675.
I like predicting. You'd settle for $675.
Yeah, I would.
I'm not going to ask Bobby. He'll settle for $676.
76, right?
All right. Are you ready, Akron? First game. A little encouragement will be underway. Andy. Ready for the first game of 3. Championship bowling from Akron, Ohio. Fred Wolf along with Pat Patterson. Bobby Kwolek won the toss. He elected to start on the right side. All games starting from the left. That puts Marzich on the left. First frame, throws it out. Maybe in there. Solid he carries. Oh, boy. Looks like Mr. Marzich is going to be pretty sharp this week. Looked very great in practice, Pat.
Yes, he did, Fred. He's playing a different angle altogether than Bob, but both boys are hitting the pocket real good.
Bobby Kwolek, former Detroiter, born in Detroit in 1932. Now from Dayton, Ohio. He'll set it. He's there, and we look at a solid 4-pin. Well, Bobby's performing for his daddy here this week in Akron. Greatly instrumental in Bobby's career as a professional bowler. There's the cover. Kwolek has the 4-pin. So we move left. Quite a story on bowling balls that this fellow's connected with. He's had 2 290 games on television. 1 on championship bowling and 1 on Detroit television, where 5 minutes before airtime, Pat, his ball broke in half. They drilled him a new one 30 seconds after the show went on the air, and he started the first game with 290. There's the 2-5. Well, they tell me you carry around 5 or 6 bowling balls with you wherever you go. Is that true?
No, not quite. I've got 2 with me this trip.
2 or 3.
Whenever I think I'm going to bowl.
2-5. The AMS pair maker indicates the ball between the 2 pins, and Kwolek covers as Andy Marzich moves in on the right side. Andy is on a strike. Andy was actually born right here in the area in Cleveland, Ohio, 1935. Went to California when he was 11 years of age. There's that inside angle. Look out! The 4-pin stops Marzich, and that, of course, is life for Kwolek. Here's one of the real great competitors on the Professional Bowlers Association Tour. He's tough all the time. In 1963, he won over $30,000 on the tour. 62, he won $13,000. On the 64 Winter Tour, he won the St. Louis Open for the 2nd time. There's the cover for Marzich. He's been the Southern California Bowler of the Year and a member of the 1964 American Bowling Congress Classic Team Champions, captained by Billy Whaley, one of our field of 24. Along with Jimmy St. John. Too high, breaks it up, nothing but the 10-pin. Well, Andy seemed to hold that first one on the left side, but that one made the fast break, Pat.
He seemed to drop that one right at the foul line, Freddie, and it got a little bit more roll than the first one did. Came in high.
10-pin cover. Going away. So for Marzich, 39 and a spare. Bobby looking for his first strike. That ought to get there. And we look at the 10-pin.
Just watching here, Fred, and I was watching Bobby real close in practice. He was straight down that second arrow. Now he's just a little bit inside with a little belly.
Well, it's like you say, they look sharp in practice, and for some reason, they make a change when they get under the tremendous pressure here of television equipment and the money involved. Bobby covers that spare beautifully and now moves to the left. We mentioned earlier that Bobby's father is here from Detroit. A fellow that can go back a good many years in this great sport of bowling and still can average around 185. One of Bobby's most severest critics, I'm sure. We're in the 4th. There's the 1, 2, 10. Not enough getting to the left, and Bobby is open, the first open frame of the match, and that gives Marzich a running start here in the 4th frame. Andy started with a strike, left a 4-pin and a 10-pin. That's there.
That was a beauty all the way, Fred.
Got a nice lift on that one. That ball moved beautifully when it got in line with the pocket. Made the turn and then just held that line into the 1-3 and carried for a strike in the 4th. Marzich now out in front by 16 pins, and he has a chance for the double. Andrew John Marzich started as a pin boy when he was just 15 years of age at the Hawthorne Bowl in California. Hurry. Oh, look out.
A lot of wiggles, but nothing fell.
I think I saw the bottom of that 5-pin, Pat. It still didn't fall down. So here's Kwolek standing by, watching Marzich now. Look at this tough shot, the 5 and the 7. Andy's pretty good on this shot, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He'll move just a couple boards left and try to hit about the same spot.
It's out. It's back. Just a little too much of the 5, and Marzich is open. So this match practically even. Bobby Kwolek, the winner of Championship Bowling Series from Northbrook, Illinois. That's out there, too far in the 1 or the 2, 4, 5, 8. And as you just pointed out, That, I sure can notice it, too. He was playing this lane practically straight in the pocket. Now he, for some reason, trying to throw that big rounder. The AMF Spearmaker tells you to put the ball right there, and there's the spare. So at the end of 5, the end of the 5th frame of the first game, championship bowling from Akron, Ohio. Marzich is open with 87. Kwolek is 63. Spare. That's up there. Too high, and there's another wide open split. Bobby Kwolek with a 6-7. Well, Marzich got the 5-7 on a pocket hit. Bobby hits the nose and leaves the 6-7. Certainly much more difficult than the 5-7.
He's taking a shot at
a
it.
little room. Oh, there was a great try by Kwolek, and Bobby is open. His second open frame on the left side. Southern California Bowler of the Year. Oh, look at here. Now, how do you figure that one, Pat?
That's one we haven't seen too often here, Fred. It was right in the old 1-2-3 pocket.
I believe that Ed Bourdet from Fresno, a very good friend of Andy's, incidentally, has a nickname that he puts on Andy on hits like that. I would imagine you know what it is.
What's that, Hector?
Hector, yes, sir.
Hector the garbage collector.
Hector the garbage collector. But Andy doesn't mind. Gotta hurry, Andy. He doesn't get there. And look here, the 1-2-4-10, the washout. So the boys are showing us almost everything.
You know what's very strange, Fred? Bob won the toss and elected to end up on 25. Most of the bowlers seem to like 25 better than 26, and these boys are getting all their opens on 25.
Going across. Nice conversion. And that could be a very, very big shot before this match is over. The margin is 18 pin. Marzich is out in front. Nope. He's still going around with the ball on the right side.
You hate to sit here and watch, Fred, and not be able to go down and tell him what he's doing wrong, because I know it'd help. But it wouldn't be fair, would it?
Well, these pros are supposed to know what they're doing wrong. Of course, I'm sure Bobby does, but you get into that. There, now he threw that one. He threw that one beautifully. Probably trying to straighten himself out, but Bobby right now is caught between something. He does not have a strike for 7 frames. He's had 2 opens in a row here on the left side. The 1-2-10, the washout, short, came right back and crowded it, hit the nose, left the 6-7. Now he's got to put one right between, and he may do it. Oh, no, this is the other side, the 4-7-10.
Sometimes it just doesn't pay to throw the ball.
Well, Marzich converted that 1-2-4-10. This could actually be the 5th straight. Oh, look at here. Great shot by Bobby Kwolek, who almost made the 6-7 the last time he was over there. 8 frames without a strike. Kwolek's looked at about everything. Marzich now on the right. Andy caved one in here in the 6th. He's probably thinking of it. He's going to have to cave in another one. That 4-pin is up there. That was very high. Well, again, the old story. These boys, sharp as a tack in practice. We can't buy a strike. Marzich has had 3 of them. Unable to get any doubles. He left the 5-7 on a strike on a pretty good hit. Now he moves to the left where he's had the 5-7 and the 1-2-4-10. So that means he's been short here. He left a solid 4-pin, 10-pin rather, in the 3rd. So the tendency here would have to be to get one up there.
It sure seems like it, Fred. We'll see here in a minute. That should be good.
Solid 10. That was a good ball, good delivery, everything good. And a good solid 10-pin.
And it's just like hitting the nose and getting 9 there when you leave that 10-pin stand.
So there's still life for Kwolek, who just may get straightened out, and if Marzich can't get loose, it still could be a great match. There's the 10-pin cover, and it'll be Kwolek in the 9th. Bobby will finish the game first. There's the 10-pin.
He was a little straighter that time, though, Fred.
Best ball he's thrown here on the right side. This young fella in 1962 set an all-time high in the Professional Bowlers Association in the qualifying rounds of the Indianapolis Open. For 25 games, he averaged 227. Nice cover for Bobby. So here is a situation, Pat. I've never checked the records this closely, whether we have ever had a game on championship bowling over the years without a strike. How about this? There we are. Well, we won't have to check any records.
No, he rolled that one nice, Fred.
Well, he threw very well here on the right side. I believe Bobby's got to get off the ground. He's been dragging a little, getting the show underway. Just didn't get a break quick. And sometimes that situation drags on throughout the whole first game. A fast double. Up. Not enough, the 2-4-5.
He got back into the left again that time, Freddie, and just couldn't bring it in.
We may have to put in his dad before this match is over. I suppose Dad's sitting there saying, "Come on, boy, or I'm going to finish this match myself." Well, that's not hurting Bobby too much. He got the first strike, so Kwolek settles for 164, and that's well under his 215 average for 24 games. Deep angle. Sends it out, brings it back, and he has a strike. So Marzich now, since that washout, has been in the pocket 3 consecutive frames. He left a 4-pin, a 10-pin. He has his first one in the 10th, a chance for 195. That'll give him about a 30-pin advantage with 2 games to go. Hurry up. Can't carry that 10-pin.
No, that was a half-pocket hit there. A little bit lighter, he might have swished, but right there, you leave a 10-pin just about every time.
So the margin will be right around 20 pins, 21 pins with this cover. Marzich out in front of Kwolek at the end of the first game of 3 on Championship Bowling, television's #1 bowling show. This is Fred Wolf, along with Pat Patterson at the Firestone Lanes in Akron, Ohio, the rubber capital of the world. Here are the scores at the end of the first game. Bobby Kwolek from Dayton, Ohio, 164, 1 strike. Andy Marzich from Los Angeles, 185. The margin, 21 pins. Come on, Akron, a little encouragement. Let's get this thing going here. Bobby Kwolek, former Detroiter, now of Dayton, Ohio, will start off the second game. He trails by 21 pins. $1,000 to the winner. Both these boys make 2 appearances. Total pins for 6 games. That'll qualify the 2 finalists with a $15,000 added purse. Bobby having a lot of problems. 1 strike in the first game. There's the spread. Pat Patterson with us again this week here in Akron, Ohio. Pat, I don't think you've seen that fella shoot 160 very often, have you?
Not too often, Fred, no. I guess it's pressure, a little tight.
Andy Marzich. That's the ball. So Andrew John, looking much like the Marzich that we've seen in action before on Championship Bowling. He has a 279 game to his credit and a high 3 games of 740. Resides in Redondo Beach. Bowls out of Los Angeles. One of the best from the West Coast. For the double. run. There we are. That's the first double of the match, Pat.
Yes, it is, Fred. Andy got just a little bit more speed those two pitches, and he had a much better ball going in there. I think that's what Bobby could use, too. Just a little bit more zip, I think he'd be better off.
There's another 10-pin. Well, Bobby had 2 10-pins in the first game. That's his third. Marzich had 3 10-pins in the first game. Cross lane. The boys make this shot look pretty easy.
Fred, really. As long as you walk towards your spare, it's not too tough.
In other words, play it from the extreme left side of the approach and walk toward your target, toward the 10-pin.
That one looks better.
Well, let's hope that Kwolek can get loose here. That's his second strike. That's his first strike in this game, the second game. We have over a game and a half to go. Andy Marzich wearing his famous King Louis bowling shirt. And all the boys here outfitted in those King Louis blazers. 4-3. 10-pin. He got some nice action from the kickback there. Pin came right out and almost hit it. So Marzich has stopped. Leaves the 10-pin on a double. Well, there's another one of those automatic 10-pin spares. Marzich now with 10 more pins to that margin. He has a 31-pin lead, but Kwolek is on a strike. I think he's going to start speeding it up a little. Pat, he's loosening up. There it is.
You got that one out
more
nice,
speed. There we are. Beautiful follow through. And we haven't seen that too often here. Kwolek now, who's been having his problems on this side, trying to go around too much. Let's see if he can keep it straight. That's straight. And look at that, the 4-7. He never touched either one of them. In other words, that 2-pin went right over the top of those two, didn't it?
It's about the only place it could have went.
4-7, Kwolek. Bobby had a great shot at his first double. There's the cover. So Bobby will move to the left. On the 1964 Winter Tour, Bobby won right around $4,000. His best finish was a 5th in the Princeton, New Jersey Open. In '63, he was just under the $10,000 mark. Had a 3rd in the Schenectady Open in New York. Won $6,000 in 1962. Well, how do we explain that?
There was nothing wrong with that pitch. That ball was good all the way, but them pins had other ideas.
Well, Bobby's been in the pocket here 5 straight frames. He's been just a bit tight. He's had 2 4-7s, but they were very good hits with 2 10-pins and a single strike. There's the spare. So Marzich now has the opportunity of stretching out that lead because he sits on a strike in the 4th. Southern California Bowler of the Year. Big man from the West. Look out. There's the 4-pin stopping Andy.
Just a wee bit high. That's usually one of Andy's good hits, Fred. He can kick that 4-pin pretty regularly. But the boys have been having trouble kicking that 4 here.
There's the cover. So at the end of 5, this match is halfway. Marzich is 89 spare. Kwolek is 78 spare. We're in the second game. Marzich right back in that pocket. So the stroker from Los Angeles has stroked 6 beautiful balls here, Pat, and all he has to show for it is 1 double. Here's Bobby Kwolek, former Detroiter, now out of Dayton, Ohio.
That looks like a good one, Freddie.
No 4-7. Bobby's been hitting that pocket beautifully. The boys, after a rocky first game, 185 for Marzich, 164 for Kwolek, have had the line on that 1-3 pocket here through 6 frames to where there's only been 2 hits, a little bit high, and those were both by Kwolek. Now Bobby moves left, still looking for his first double of the match. I think he's got it. He's got the 8-10. I can't believe it. Look at the 10-pin wiggle and wobble, and Bobby's just a little bit disheartened with the result of that.
That's a double tap, Fred. Solid 8 and a solid 10. He had that ball in there real well.
The AMF pin spotter putting the wiggle right back on that 10-pin, and Bobby just, oh, look at here. He's trying that kickback. Something new. He threw it overhand. Bobby's a little bit disappointed there, I'll tell you. Kwolek now with 126 in the 7th frame with that split, as Marzich moves in the 7th, and Andy is working on another strike. There's the double. And that's a big one for Andy Marzich from Los Angeles. His second double, piling up quite a margin. But, of course, Andy thinking of total pinfall now. 6 games, total pins. Each bowler makes 2 appearances, meeting a different opponent each time. The top 2 scorers for the 6 games qualify for our finalists during the last 2 weeks here on Championship Bowling from Akron, Ohio. Marzich now moves to the left on 2. There's room for bonus money. He walks away from it. Doesn't get away with it. Leaves the 6 and the 9. What happened to that one, Pat?
I'd say he got there a little ahead of the ball that time, Fred, because he realized it as soon as he got to the foul line. And that could come from having that double and wanting to get that turkey real bad. Rushed up there a little.
Six, 9, the cover. So Andy now, 157 with a spare in the 8. Still has a chance for 230 as Bobby Kwolek moves in on the right side, trailing by some 50 pins. Former pin boy in Detroit. And a fine draftsman, incidentally. There's a pin right behind the 5. Solid 5, they call that one. Bobby throws that ball, I think, the way he wants to throw it. For the first ball, he's throwing it that way on the second ball. He's just trying to give it a little too much on his strike ball. 52 pins. Andy Marzich out in front. Kwolek throws. Boy, he put something on that one. He had him grinding up, grinding from the bottom up that time. They seem to be bouncing up. So we go into the 9th for Marzich. Kwolek getting into the position for that 200 score, the big strike in the 9th. Here's Marzich in the 9th. This is the big frame. And he throws it up. Be careful. There's the 4-7. He didn't touch either one of them. Didn't get a break on that one.
That's a funny hit, Fred. It's hard to figure that out. I'd like to see a slow motion of the pins sometime and see just where that 2-pin does go on that hit. It has to go up in the air, go around the necks of the pins.
4-7, the cover. Well, that gives Bobby Kwolek a life here. We're in the 10th frame of the second game. One more game to go. Andy Marzich, a member of the 1964 American Bowling Congress Classic Team Champions, along with Billy Welu, Jimmy St. John. Get it up there. Not enough for that pocket, the 2-4-5-8. And a tough one here for Marzich.
He was tight last time on that alley, Fred. He made a little bit over adjustment that time and came up with a bucket.
If Andy doesn't cover this spare, Kwolek can still win this second game. Keep this match pretty close. Careful. Oh, he made it on the other side. Going away. Did you know that almost 1/3 of our children aren't fit enough to pass minimum physical tests? Make sure, Mother, that your child has a daily program of physical education. Solid 7. For more information on physical education, write the President's Council on Physical Fitness, Washington 25, D.C. Kwolek now for his double. Solid 10.
Well, that's unusual, Fred. 2 games and Bob still hasn't got a double. Although this game, the way he shot it, he could have had a lot more than just one double.
Well, he had a 10-pin, a strike, then an 8-10 for his double. Here's a strike going for him in the 9th and a solid 10-pin. Converts the spare. The count will give him 186. Had Bobby been able to pick up a couple of strikes, 206-4, he'd have been just about 25 pins behind. Now he's going to find himself about 50 pins behind. A little more difficult. About 45. There it is. Full count, boy. He could have had that first one.
Field automatic there, Fred.
So Bobby Kwolek with a full count in the 10th. Settling for 186. Andy Marzich, 210. Championship bowling from Akron, Ohio, the home of the Professional Bowlers Association. Before we get to the third and final game on championship bowling here in Akron, Ohio, from Conversation Corner, we have Mrs. Jane Arnold, who is connected with the Parent Teachers Association here in Akron. How does bowling help the PTA, Mrs. Arnold?
Well, you come out here, it's the atmosphere, and you get to meet the mothers as people other than just meeting them at the meetings. Mm-hmm. They discuss the children, the things that we do, the things the teachers do, and anything to better our schools.
In other words, the mothers can get together under a little different atmosphere than you would at a normal PTA meeting. You're still enjoying yourself.
Oh, very much so.
While you're bowling. How do the girls bowl? Pretty good?
Oh, average around 125, 130.
And you bowl in the daytime?
Yes.
Well, there's a good idea for you. What the Parent Teachers Association here in Akron benefits from the great activity of bowling. And would you advise PTA groups all over the country to check into the possibility of having a bowling league for the mothers?
I certainly would, because we enjoy it very much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Jane Arnold. On Championship Bowling, we're ready for the third and final game from Akron, Ohio. Andy Marzich, the West Coast star, out in front, the margin, 45 pins out in front of Bobby Kwolek. The third and final game, $1,000 to the winner. Marzich is in, and he carries the strike in the first frame. There was a little bit of explosion.
That looked more like the ball he was rolling in practice there, Fred. That ball had a lot on it.
Marzich with 2 doubles. Kwolek looking for his first double as we go into the third game. Well, Bobby can't buy a strike. He can't buy a break. There's the 5-7 on a pocket hit. Not much action down there. Hold it. Nice shot. Well, Bobby is putting on quite an exhibition here. He converted a wide open split in the first game, the 4-7-10. Now he picks up the 5-7, moves left, trails by 45 pins. Don't count him out yet. There we go. All right. Seemed to have a little extra speed on that one, Pat.
He got that ball out there real good, Fred. I think if he'd ever catch this 26 just once, he'd be on his way. But 26 has him tied up.
Marzich now moving it on the right side. Andy's on a strike. He started the second game with a double. He started every game with one strike. That's out there, too far, and Andy doesn't get much of the pocket. To 2-5. Andy's quite a pocket billiard player, I understand. Pat, have you ever matched cues with him?
Well, I'm not very good, Fred, but I've watched Andy and a few of the other boys that are fairly good play.
Going away. Marzich now moving to the left. On the spare, the margin, 45 pins, 8 frames to go. Championship bowling from Akron, Ohio. Fred Wolf along with Pat Patterson. Watching these boys battle it out. Look out, too high, breaks it up, nothing but the 4-pin.
Oh, Fred, if I wouldn't have seen it, I'd never believe it. The way they were stroking in practice and the trouble they're having here in the match. And I bowled against Andy quite a bit on TV. I know he doesn't tighten up too much. Andy's pretty confident all the time.
There's the spare. As Bobby Kwolek, a former champion of championship bowling, winning the Northbrook, Illinois series, on a strike, looking for his first double. Now, another 10-pin.
The ball looks good, but it just don't quite finish on that lane, Fred. And won't quite get through there. Now we've got another 10-pin.
Cross lane, just a little extra speed, walking right towards your target, and that's how to make the spare. Member of the Professional Bowlers Association, Bobby Kwolek used to be quite a draftsman, gave up the draftsman career, actually. Like the other day when he was working out here, Pat, he said, well, I think I'll sharpen up my pencil. I can't knock the pins down anymore. I'm going to start back to work as a draftsman. Come on. There we are. Look at that. Still have the 7-pin up there. All that action. And 9 pins only.
It just shows, Fred, when you're struggling out there, nothing seems to go right. Even when you hit them good, you can't carry.
Kwolek covers up another spare in the 4th, and he's unable to close the gap as Marzich keeps filling. The margin, 44 pins. Here's Andy in the 4th, the 3rd and final game. That ought to get there. There we are. Now Andy will move over to the left side where he is not having quite as much success. Let's see if he can't get himself a double. Marzich with 395, Kwolek 350. How's that? There's a couple of pretty good pitches. A big double by Marzich, and that puts another 10 pins onto his margin. He has about 50 pins to work on. We're in the 5th frame of the 3rd game. Bobby Kwolek from Dayton, Ohio, sets it, and Bobby is in there. Well, it's getting a little late at the end of 5 here in the 3rd and final game from Akron, Ohio, championship bowling. Marzich is 59 in the 3rd, works on 2. Kwolek is 79 in the 4th, and he works on a strike in the 5th. We're in the 6th. The first double for Kwolek. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bob is thanking everybody here in Akron for the great ovation he received for his first double of the match. So Marzich now facing Kwolek's double. He is on a double. His margin around 50 pins. But this might start Kwolek off. So Marzich will have to pay attention. Going for the turkey. There it is. So, like you say, Pat, this fella's as cool as a cucumber, and he certainly answered the challenge with that one, didn't he?
Yes, he did, Fred. That was a beautiful ball there. 26 isn't the greatest alley in the world to swish him on, but Andy had something on that one. And he's working for that bonus now, Fred. Just 2 more.
Going for 4. Filling in the 30s. That gives Andy 89 in the 4th. And he just didn't like the way those AMF tournament grade pins looked to him, and he will use the AMF pin spotter to have a new set put the way he feels they should be if he's going to get 4 strikes in a row. One of the many conveniences of the AMF automatic pin spotters that let you bowl at a livelier pace. Going for 4. He doesn't get there, leaves the 2-pin. He got that one out too far. Seemed to whip that one a little bit, Pat.
Yes, he did. He got it out there a little bit too far, and it just wouldn't come back. Again, it probably gets back to he was up to the foul line a little fast. Seems like we say this a lot, Fred, but most of your troubles stem from your approach.
The 2-pin is covered. Marzich has only had 1 open frame. He left the 5-7 split on a strike in the 5th frame of the first game. He had 2 doubles in the second game, lost 10 pins and counts for 210. This game, a triple. We're in the 7th for Kwolek. Going for the triple. Too high. 4-pin. Almost a 4-7-10. So Bobby unable to string them out. Been hitting the pocket. Can't carry too many of his hits, and just getting 1 double here for the whole route. There's the cover. So we go into the 8th frame. The margin's still 55 pins. Marzich out in front. Should have enough to win this one. But the total pinfall here is going to be a little rough for both of these fellas. They'll both need big totals in their other appearance if we're going to see them here in Akron, Ohio for the finals of championship bowling on our last 2 weeks. Kwolek's up. That's the ball. A little late. Kwolek still a potential 238. Marzich 248. They both got to go all the way. No bonus money yet. Oh, look at here. That's the old Hector ball.
That's the Hector shot. You're right. And he just looked back and said, I had to have that one right. He's thinking about that bonus money, I think, Fred.
Yes, sir. You needed that one, Andy, and you need this one and 3 more if you want to collect any bonus money. That's the same position Kwolek is in. This is the big 9th frame. And he's got another one. So don't count him out here. A chance for 248, and that just about locks up the match. Kwolek with a chance for 238, and also the chance for bonus money. If both these boys can go all the way out, Pat, they can still collect bonus money, and we haven't been close to it for the entire match. Come on, Kwolek. Get it up there. He is short, and he has the 210. One of the real tough leaves, really, when you still hit the head pin and leave a shot like this.
This is a very, you can't say unusual split, Fred. We have it quite often when the ball just barely touches that head pin. The 210.
Well, he's made 2 wide open splits. Maybe he can, no, he's too far. So Bobby's open in the 9th. So now the question is, can Marzich go all the way out? Not only to pick up bonus money, but to check him in here with about 640, which is a pretty good total. in the 10th on the Brooklyn. Might as well try it over there, Bob.
I think Bobby's a little disgusted, Fred, because he was bowling so well in practice. He thought he had a good chance to put a big score up.
Well, that 215 average that he has on championship bowling is going to take a little buffeting around this week. He has the third highest 3 games ever bowled, too, on championship bowling. 763, including a 290 game. There we go. Another double. That makes 2. Golly Kwolek. 204. That'll give him 400 for the last 2 games. 390, rather. You have about 550. That's all he can get out of this. 554. 554. The third game for Kwolek, 204. Marzich here now with a chance for 248. A spare here would only give him 228. 20 pins might be the difference between a crack at that $10,000 for first place or $5,000 for runner-up in the finals. The winner here receives $1,000. Marzich needs 3 strikes for $250 in bonus money. Sets it. There it is. There's the first one. I got to believe that was a real clutcher right there.
Yes, it was. When Andy needs him, he gets a little faster and fits that ball just a little tighter in the pocket.
I could see the strain on his face going down his neck. That's the sign of a real great competitor. They have to have something to shoot at. And with Kwolek not going, Andy probably wasn't being pushed enough. We might have got more pins out of this fella. Notice how he plants that right foot exactly where he wants it. He's way left of center. Throws it out. Here it comes. Not enough of that pocket, and it's the 245, and that strike could be the difference. 230 for Andy Marzich. 235 will give him 630. Nope, he leaves 1 for 234. 234, 629 for Marzich. For Kwolek's last game, 204. The total is 554. Now, we'll be back and have a word or two with these 2 fine, great bowling champions. I want to thank you, Pat Patterson, for being with us this week.
Enjoyed it, Fred. Thank
Glad
you.
you could join us here on Championship Bowling, television's #1 bowling show from the Firestone Lanes in Akron, Ohio, where the World Series of Golf is played annually. Here are the official scores for Bobby Kwolek: 164, 186, and 204. The total is 554. For Andy Marzich, 185, 210, a 234 finish, 629. The winner, Andy Marzich. And the runner-up, no bonus money, Bobby Kwolek, $500.
Thank
Bobby?
you, Freddie.
What do
I
you
don't know
have?
what to say. I guess I just tried to be a little bit too careful, Fred, and I just wasn't loose. After I left that washout in the 3rd frame, I just never was the same. I don't know, one of those things, that's all.
One of those things.
Worst thing, it's the worst I've ever bowled in championship bowling, so.
Isn't there a song by that title, Just One of Those Things?
Yeah, maybe that's why they wrote
You
it.
sing that pretty well. Andy, $1,000 is the winner. In your next appearance here, possibly you'll have to have the big one if you want to get around in the finals.
Yeah, when I'm trying to beat 23 other guys, I'm not really as happy as I could be, even though I won the 1,000. But when you're shooting for the 10,000 and 5, it's a little bit disappointing.
And no bonus money.
That's
Neither
right.
of you boys cashed in the bonus money. Let's repeat the scores. 629 for Marzich, 554 for Bobby Kwolek. Ladies and gentlemen of Akron, let's give them a nice hand, and better luck the next time. Good luck. Sure hope you can join us again next week on television's #1 bowling show, Championship Bowling, with the world's greatest bowlers in match game competition from the Firestone Bowl A Rama in Akron, Ohio. See you next week at this same time. This is Fred Wolf just saying, keep 'em bowling out there. It's great fun. matching shirts and slack shoes on Championship Bowling by King Louie. Championship Bowling is sanctioned by the American Bowling Congress, and we wish to thank AMF for their cooperation in helping us to produce Championship Bowling.